Hey y'all, hope all is well. I'm out here working on a big van again today. I'm still working on this solar panel rack. Here's what I've done so far. I have 6 brackets screwed down at the moment. As you can see, this one and that one, I've got the same on the other side. And I was able to take some aluminum framework from a camper shell that I had 8 years ago on a pickup truck, and I cut some of that to make the spacers for this, which keeps this flat, although the roof is curved a little. Because see, those are just straight down on the roof. This one needed spacers, and I'm okay with that. But this rack is now on the van, and I'm shaking the whole van with it. I'm not done though. I do have 4 more of those little solar panel mounting brackets, so I'm gonna try to put 2 on each long bar up the sides, of course with spacers and such. Probably, I don't know, yeah, no, then that would interfere with the solar panels. I don't know. I may put a crossbar in the middle of the front section to bolt it down to the roof. Somebody mentioned that hanging over is going to catch a lot of air, and I understand that, which is why I'll be putting an air dam in front of it. Probably just take the one off the other van, because I mean there's one on there and it's been there for years, and we'll see if it comes apart in one piece. Then brackets, may or may not. But then again, I can always just make new brackets for that. But the solar panel rack is on top of the van. It is bolted in. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 bolts holding it to the roof right now. I did put some extremely sticky, non-skinning sealant under each one of these brackets. After I drilled the holes and put the bolts through, before I tightened them up, sorry about the sunlight, I put this stuff in there, Extra Bond 1500 NS. This is not a product commercial or anything. It's just a non-skinning butyl sealant, permanently pliable, moisture resistant, non-paintable, non-skinning, non-staining. That stuff should keep moisture out of my brackets. But I'm also considering going over these brackets with fiberglass. Sand the fiberglass roof a little bit and put some down over them to incorporate them into the roof for extra strength, stability, and security. But I'm not sure if I'm going to need to, because when I was moving this thing with the rack, it was moving the whole van. So if I put 2 or 4 more brackets up there with an air dam, I think that's going to be just fine. And here's what I did on the inside. I put a little piece of metal between the bolts. That way it wasn't just the bolts holding it in. That way, you know, it kind of spreads the stress between them. I did that on all of them. The ones in the back are already hidden, because as y'all may remember, I started putting the ceiling up. Well, I had to take 2 boards down to get to it to put the back bolts in, but those boards are already back up in place. Well, here, I'll show you. There's my pretty little dog. Hang on a second. Let's do it. There we go. Hey, Duber. Anyway, she's a cutie pie. But that's the ceiling boards. I had to take this one down and that one down to access the ceiling. But above those boards is Reflectix, and above the Reflectix is rock wool insulation. So the Reflectix is not directly on the skin of the roof, because it does need an air gap or a gap between it and the surface to be effective. But with that rock wool insulation and the Reflectix on the roof, and I'm gonna do the walls like that as well. I believe this place is going to be very sufficiently insulated. It's definitely going to be insulated more than my other one was, so it ought to be more effective and work better. Now the floor, that's going to be a whole different story, because when I do the floor, I'm going to do a framework out of 1x. Well, it's a mess in here, but I'm going to build a whole framework in there and put styrofoam insulation in the framework, and then cover that with Reflectix, and then cover that with plywood. And then after I build all my cabinets and such, I will finish the flooring with the same stuff that the ceiling has. But I'm making progress. That rack should be just fine the way it is, but I do still want to put 2 brackets up front, because as you can see, it does stick over a little bit, but just enough to where a simple air dam like that should be effective in not scooping air under it. I thought about putting a bracket here on this long bar and on the other side, but there's quite a gap right there, and I don't think that's going to be just like a 6-inch bolt, and I don't know, not on the front. So I may just put a crossbar in there under where the panel's going to sit and bracket it down like the others. Not sure yet, but I'm still working on it, so we'll see how it turns out. I'll be back later with more progress, more updates, and more videos. I hope all is well, and until next time, happy trails.